Willie Contraband here, and welcome to Beyond Duality.
Beyond duality, three eyes in a circle. Willie Contraband, no soul, controversial. Facts on facts, but my name's not Urkel. Hit 'em where it hurts till their heart turns purple. They say they got your back.
Alright. How you doing? Welcome to Beyond Duality, where we dive deep into astrology and all the mysteries of this realm. If you guys would like a personalized reading for your eyes only, since this is a generalized reading, check out williecontraband.com/guidance and I'll hook you up there, right? So let's get right into it. Collective astral report for today is this eclipse. We have a lunar eclipse happening in Taurus. And the chart I got pulled up is for April 30th at 4:28 p.m. Eastern time. For specifics, some people like details. Taurus is having an eclipse. We're having an eclipse in Taurus. Sun and the moon are meeting in 10 degrees exact at in Taurus. So what does this mean for us as a collective? A lot. I don't even know where to start, but all I can say is change. That's definitely big emphasis right now. Eclipse in general bring change, bring drastic shifts to energetic elements, brings rapid, accelerated growth, brings expansion. Eclipse one things out and shows you the new thing in your life. But that's how, usually eclipses are like that. But with this specific eclipse in Taurus, where Uranus is in Taurus, they're 4 degrees away from Uranus. Uranus is, the reason why, or one of the reasons why our systems are collapsing, why, values are changing. Uranus and Taurus, another reason why, the 3D is, starting to alter in certain ways, or things that used to make us feel secured, or things that we valued, whether it is physical or relationships. So eclipses usually bring change. The last time we had an eclipse was, I want to say, November 23rd, around the November 19th ish. And that was an eclipse, a lunar eclipse in Scorpio, opposite of Taurus, on the other side of the spectrum. And if you think about your life around that time, the October, November, December area time period, you can see a lot of things change. And that was 6 months ago. You can see how your life changed just within those 3 months in that area, and the growth that's happened since then. Also, what I would say right now is that since it is an eclipse in Taurus, Uranus is the planet of change, planet of surprises. It's like lightning. You never know when sun's going to strike and how it's going to hit. I would say the thing with this eclipse, the change that's coming in is in a lot of different ways. Like I mentioned before, our value with certain things, whether it's a physical, tangible thing, or even relationships, our values with that. Values with how we feel secured. What do we need to feel secured and feel safe? Because Taurus is about like having your basic human essential needs. Like having a place to sleep, having food to eat, and clothes, and water type of thing. But how do we relate to that now, where we're coming from a time, this past few decades, where we feel like we need so much? The change that might be coming in right now is like Taurus is like less is more. Or at least Uranus is like, hey, you want less baggage right now, because there's not a lot of things that are stable at this moment in time. Everything's fluctuating. So what I would say is that what this is eclipsing is like the past, I want to say 2 years, where we kind of hit already 2 years with the global pandemic. And this is gonna not that it's going anywhere in terms of like, the disease or whatever, but mandates definitely going down or changing. This is also emphasizing that time period getting closed of how we used to live life and how we live life now, 2 years after this time period, because it was around like March, April where it really got serious in 2020. So this is going to emphasize those points, but also eclipse that we're moving past those points, because everything in a way is cyclical. That's why when you look at the sky and constellations and charts, and you look at your natal birth chart or the horoscope, the wheel, it's a circle. A lot of things are circles because it circulates. Things return back to points of origin or certain points within that circle. The circle is the orbits. The circle is patterns. The circle is a spiral. Like spiritual or like spiritual. It's a spiritual journey. We keep coming back to certain points in our lives, but could see it from a higher, standpoint, a higher view, a higher version of ourselves. So this eclipse, straight up, is bringing change, but more than anything, I feel like it's bringing change with our environment in our 3D. Is bringing change with new characters in our lives. And what does that mean, new characters? It's like, characters, you mean new people? Yeah, kind of same thing, but it's like, like we said, life happens cyclical nature, circulates, returns back to origin, patterns, cycles. What this comes to, what I'm trying to bring it to, is stories. Stories have certain patterns, certain themes, and stories could be passed on in a cyclical nature, and they might change over time, but what it does present is that we tell ourselves stories of who we are and what character we are in our stories, and the other people in our lives play other characters in our stories. So what this emphasizes right now is that a lot of the characters that have been in our story, whether it's been the last 2 years or 5 years, 10 years, our whole lives, families, close friends, loved ones, the truth is that those characters are about to change again. The story's about to change. Sometimes we don't like changing the story. We don't like closing the book of who we have become or who we are or who we identify ourselves as. But this eclipse, it's already been starting. Eclipse energy starts before it even comes. The energy starts bubbling up, starts building. You've probably been feeling it since the full moon, because this is a new moon eclipse in Taurus, which is allowing us to open up space in our lives, to bring new things, but not just so general like that, but specifically new people, new environments, new routines, new rituals. How are we taking care of ourselves every day? Your story changing more than anything. Forget the environment, the other people, job, whatever it may be. Yourself changing. How are you loving yourself? That self-love, self-care, mental health, emotional health. How are all these things, being maintained or nurtured? Human nature needs to be nurtured. That's why a good thing, talking about Taurus, is earth energy. Going to Mama Earth, Mother Earth, Mother Nature nurtures human nature. But it takes us to meet it halfway to make it happen. Law of action. The earth is not going to come and put its dirt under our feet. We got to take off our shoes and go outside and put our feet in the ground to really ground, earthing. A tree's not going to come and hug you. You got to go hug the tree. And little things like that. Other things are like, waking up, and what's the first thing you do when you wake up? Are you going straight to your phone, seeing what's happening on YouTube and Instagram? Or are you drinking some water? Is that the first thing you do? Are you saying your affirmations or being grateful, saying your prayers? So that's what's going to come and kind of realign a lot of things in our lives, see what's important, see what we value, because our values been changing as well. So it's getting to know ourselves again, getting to know that it's okay not to know. The unknown is fine, doesn't have to be scary. Another thing I would say, let's see what's going on here. We got Sun, Moon, Uranus, and Taurus. Gemini just started creeping out. Mercury just started creeping into Gemini, so it's gonna be at 0 degrees, which was just in Taurus. So our mental, and Mercury's about to go retrograde too. It's about to get crazy. You know, we had this window open for the last month or two. No retrogrades. Energy was, able to move with no delays. The only delay was us mentally, and us trying to recalibrate ourselves back into momentum and gradually building. But Mercury going into Gemini is gonna hyper focus our brains into seeing how we could connect things, how we could connect with each other. And it's gonna retrograde back into Taurus, which is gonna be very interesting because by that time the Sun, the Moon, it's gonna pass over Uranus. The Moon's probably gonna be out of Taurus, come back into it, next month. But also I'm seeing the North nodes in Taurus, which is crazy. I always forget that, but it makes a lot of sense. Us as a collective are returning back to nature. We're returning back to alternative ways. We call it alternative, but it's really original ways. It's really natural ways of doing things. How we used to do it, our ancestors. But we call it alternative now. Alternative remedies, alternative medicine, alternative ways of healing, alternative ways to deal with your mental realm, with your mental health. There's a lot of alternatives coming up, rising out the surface right now. The North Node brings that. North Node also brings us to focus on how we want to gradually build in our lives in terms of not necessarily like a legacy, but more of like overall picture, knowing what your vision is or where you want to go, because Taurus will get you there. Taurus sometimes could be lazy, but Taurus is one of the hardest workers. Sometimes Taurus just wants to chill. It's very Venus, wants to just look good and do things that feel good. But at the same time, Taurus is a very grounding energy that is very strong. It emphasizes strength. Taurus is like the bull. And if you ever, see bulls or study bulls, observe bulls, they lay down a lot. They chilling a lot, but when it's time to work or get going, they get to it and they come with a force. So we're coming from this time period of being in the pandemic and quarantine for 2 years. Our momentum wasn't that high, and what happened is that now things are getting back in the mix and we're figuring out how to gradually build our energy back, our capacity to do things. So I feel like with all this passing by the time Mercury goes into retrograde, it's going to be a time to hyper focus on reorganizing yourselves in terms of what you're building or what you're aiming to achieve, what your goals are, reorganizing and reflecting on where you came from, mistakes you made. I want to say too is that reflected on times when things changed a lot, looking back, I say this very often, and I'm gonna keep saying it. We gotta drill this programs in, but we grew up with one of our curriculums, our classes being history, his story, history, and I always say, what happened to her story? What happened to your story? What happened to my story? What happened to our story? What happened to everybody's story? We just learned about his story. And a lot of people, even through astrology, I do it myself with the history we've been given through our systems and the curriculums. I study history and see where planets were hundreds of years ago, 50, 60, 100, 200, whatever the increment is, to see what was going on in those times. And going back to cyclical nature, things are patterns, these orbits, these cycles in our lives. It happens on a big scale, on a collective scale, throughout civilizations. So seeing the history of where certain planets were at certain times gives us insight on what's happening now, where the planets are in similar positions, and also how to move and navigate these energies, and seeing the results from the past and seeing how we could maybe alter those results, or move in a different direction. So going back, what I'm trying to say is that it's important for you to study your own history, to study your history. When you say we said history, I'm like, what happened to my story, my story? But they call your story, my story, mystery. Because we don't know shit about what's going on in our lives. You feel me? So we have to start studying our own history, our own orbits, our own cycles, seeing how the cyclical nature in this thing called life continues to always happen. So pinpointing certain times, and you can even do it by the science and math of astrology. Pull up your chart, and then you pull up a transit chart, and then you could have your birth natal chart in one circle, and then outside of your birth natal chart, it'll show you where the planets are currently at, or you could, program it to go to a certain date. So if you want to go back in time, this is how you study your history. Go back to certain moments in your life that you remembered, where they're either your birthdays, because that's easy for everybody to remember. So look where the sun was in your sign always. Keep going back by year, and you can see the growth. You can see how there's always a similar theme around your birthday, whether it could be multiple themes, but whether it's energies like amplified and you're feeling always great around your birthday. Some people retreat around their birthday. Some people kind of get quiet and don't want to be out there. So seeing things like this, I don't want to go too deep today, but more than anything is seeing other points in your life where life has changed drastically for you and changed unexpectedly, because that's where we're in right now, with this eclipse, especially in Taurus, especially around Uranus. They're right next to Uranus, so this is gonna be crazy. I already been feeling this. A lot of people been feeling it. A lot of turbulence, earth energy, especially with Uranus, brings earthquakes. So even if we're not getting extreme earthquakes, there's still a rumble happening, because things are coming to life. Things are materializing. These seeds that you've been planting are starting to burst out of their seed and grow through the fucking ground, and that takes strength, that takes force. These beautiful flowers and plants we see, and they're so delicate and fragile, they went through some shit, and that's what we're going through right now. So we're in that change from that seed bursting out from the seed that was planting in the dirt, in the darkness, finding its way to sprout and ground and root and bring up these stems and bring up, all these flowers, bring up your base into above the surface. It's not, we're not going to see the full fruition, but, at least, it becoming evident, it's surfacing, certain things surfacing in our lives, through the cracks of the ground breaking. It's groundbreaking. Once you start seeing a little bit, you just see a little stem pop out. You're like, yo, I'm going to where I gotta go. And sometimes, the universe, God, Allah, whatever, brings you to a different place. Maybe you thought you was heading to a certain place, planted that seed, but that seed brought different fruit. And it's totally fine. But in moments of the unknown, I would always like to say is just stay calm and try to remember other moments in your life where things change. Study that, study your reactions, study your responses, study your emotions, how you felt, because that's where we're at. And I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I want to go into the tarot readings, because we'll see what change is coming, these following weeks, especially the next 2-3 months, especially. Eclipse energy also resonates usually like about 3 months strong, but it could go out to 6 months. And that's why even now I've been feeling that last eclipse back in 2021 in Scorpio season, Scorpio moon, and it was Scorpio moon. That's crazy. But holy crap. Alright, so 3 cards popped out. That was quick. But I was gonna say is just, sometimes with change, there's only so much I could say, because it's Uranus. We don't really know what's coming. And Nothing's ever as bad as it feels, and nothing's ever as good as it seems. So always take that with you, you know. Of course, it's good to have good things and feel good, but never, you know, as above, so below. Never buy in over 100% when something feels good. It's like, it feels good, and that's okay. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna enjoy this, and that's cool. But nothing. When they say sometimes things are too good to be true, I want to say like 89% of the time that's true. So always keep that in mind. And also, when things change and it doesn't feel good, know that it's not as bad as it feels. You know, when you do feel bad, it's not as bad as it feels. You know, sometimes blessings come in disguise, you know, because sometimes change can only happen in a way that stops you from where you was going in the wrong direction completely. You know, sometimes it's gradual, but sometimes it gotta stop you on your tracks. But anyways, let's get to the readings. First card that popped up, we got Major Arcana, the Lovers, baby. And the Lovers, you know, first thing that pops up is lovers, relationships, couples. But I look at this card multiple ways. You know, I always look at it like, you know, Gemini, the twins. But also these two figures are within you. These two archetypes. You know, lovers, I always look at it like this is the intertwinement of your very own masculine energy and feminine energy, because we all withhold these energies within us, you know. So I always look at the Lovers card like that. What it also talks about is abundance as well. You know, is coming things are coming to a completion in terms of like showing itself to you, because you can see the angel right here. Then we got all the sunlight, all the rays coming down. You know, we got the tree of life. These are seasons changing. There's fruition. Like all these animals. It's plentiful. There's abundance. There's, you know, there's life happening. Which also from the Lovers, masculine, feminine energy, whether you want to talk on a 3D level or 5D level, and if you want to talk about it as one person or two people, creation derives from this. You know, so you know, a male and female will create a child. You know, that's creation energy. That's life force energy. Same thing within yourself. When you intertwine your masculine and feminine energy within yourself and fully align and trust that energy, you're able to move in a way to create things in your life. You know, everyone wants to manifest. You know, this is a way to materialize, is to come together in the union of thyself. You know, of that masculine feminine energy, where masculine is what allows you to have the drive and go for things, and you know, your feminine energy is what allows you to be receptive and be a magnet, you know, and know that things come to you. A lot of people think masculine it just means male, or just means a guy and men. A lot of people think feminine means females only, or just women. But masculine is a certain type of energy, and feminine is a certain type of energy that we all hold within. Doesn't matter who you are. Some people have, you know, 50-50. Some people have 70-30. The mixture of how it's expressed could vary, but we all have it within us, because that's how we got here, 50-50 on that, you know, the masculine, feminine. So I would say this is a sign to just trust, align with yourself. If a lot of things outside of yourself are changing, stay whole within. And when the change happens, this is usually when change happens, a good time for a lot of things to manifest and materialize. Next card. Ooh, alright, yeah. We got Queen of Swords. So here's a good example of feminine energy expressing a lot of masculine energy, which is great, because Queen of Swords, swords represent words. Swords represents air, the mental energy, the mental elements. So when you talk about swords, you can see the Queen of Swords is like, boom, we're gonna do this is how it goes, boom, 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 clear cut. So that what this means, especially with all this change happening right now with this eclipse energy, is goes back to this, like going within and aligning yourself, making sure you're whole within, because you can't control things outside of yourself, but you control certain things within. One of the things you control is being clear on your vision, or being clear on the things you want, or the things or the places you want to go, or being clear with the people around you. That's a big one with Queen of Swords, Where Queen of Swords is like, you know, creates boundaries. Queen of Swords says, hey, this is cool, this is not, you know. Queen of Swords is firm. That's one of my favorite things about Queen of Swords. She is firm, you know, firm on decisions. It could be the right or wrong thing, but you don't know until you go through with it. And a lot of times it's always right. You know, something always good comes out, whether you accomplish what you're trying to do or you learn from it, you know. But Queen of Swords is being firm. So everything that you're aligning with yourself, you're able to control yourself within. Be firm to not try to control things outside of yourself, especially Pluto and Scorpio generation. We're crazy, bro. Like, we want to control everything, you know. And it's because we think we'll do best, you know. We got good hearts, but can't control everything, you know. So that's emphasized, being firm, decision making, transformation too. Because here's one of the biggest things, and you know, there's not enough things online in the digital world to inform us of this. But it's, once you make a decision, it's so powerful, because they say the universe is mental. You know, we're talking about Queen of Swords that represents the air element, which is the mental energy. And we're talking alchemy and astrology. When you make a decision and you're firm and you're like, nah, this is what I'm gonna do, or this is what I want, or this whatever decision. Once you make that decision, it's crazy. They say the universe is mental, and I believe this because I've experienced this so many times. When I make firm, clear-cut decisions, it starts like conspiring for you. Like, the universe starts moving things right away. Once you're like, yo, this is that, yo, things start coming to you. You start going to random places, you know, all these random places, and what happens is you meet the right person, or someone's talking about a certain thing you were thinking about, or you get a random call, email. I don't know, man, the list goes on. But I could say, when you make decisions, the universe moves for you. You know, a lot of things start falling into place and align, because a decision is also, you know, thought, mental realm, goes down to feeling, goes down to emotion. Once you make a decision, your emotion doesn't change. You know, it's like, this is what I'm going to do. Therefore, we really manifest from emotion. But one of the greatest tools to navigate emotions is the mental realm. So decisions. What we got final? Last card. Where we at? 5 of Wands. 5 of fire. That desire, that passion, that action. And in this case, 5 of Wands, I just gotta say, be careful. Watch out. You're gonna start getting aligned within yourself. There's be abundance showing itself. Things are gonna be coming to completion, which brings new beginnings. You're gonna start making decisions, being firm, you know, just saying how it is, being clear cut, knowing what you want. Other people, they're not gonna like that. Other people are gonna be like, what? Who you think you are? Why are you changing? Why are you happy? Or why you know what you want now all of a sudden? Why you got goals? Oh, you got goals now? They're gonna try to fight you. And not literally fight you, but they're gonna try to slow you down. They're gonna try to distract you. They're like, come on, nah, let's go to this party. And you're like, nah, I'm really trying to be healthy. You know, I know if I go to a party, I'm gonna drink. They're like, come on, bro, you're not. One drink won't hurt. You know, that's this type of energy right here. There's also haters. Haters are going to pop up. Haters are non-supporters. You know, sometimes we think a lot of people are supporting us, and some people are just around because they want to be a part of your story, or sometimes misery loves company. They want to bring other people down. So what I get out of these 3 cards is go within during this change. You know, control what's going on inside. Because I said outside is going to be crazy. And this is a perfect card to show it. That's fire energy, which we're going into fire energy soon. You know, we're about to go Jupiter into Aries. You know, we're about to go Venus into Aries soon. You know, Mars is not too far behind. So a lot of fire energy coming. We got to be careful. Fire is not bad at all. Fire is good. But too much fire burns things down. And these things that you want to build, especially right now, it'll go two ways. You know, if you're not firm with your boundaries and the people in your life, whatever you're building will easily collapse, especially in these times where we're learning how to really strengthen our foundations, you know. So I would say stay whole within, keep control of what you could keep control of, which is yourself, the way you react or respond. I would say try to respond more than anything. Try not to react. Think before you do anything. But if you can't, you know, be aware of yourself. Be mindful. But more than anything, create boundaries. Be clear-cut on your boundaries. Be clear-cut on how you want to move. Be firm with your decisions. And then when these people do come around trying to distract you, get you off guard, you know, throw you in a different direction, you'll be able to be very grounded and hold yourself down. Because a lot of these energies too, say with a Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces energy, Venus and Pisces energy, we just want to feel good. You know, we just want to be in a good vibration. So anything could easily manipulate us or, you know, blur our vision, especially with Neptune there. Could very much blur the way we see things, give us different lenses. Sometimes, you know, what this change is going to bring to your attention is the things you have to do in your life. And sometimes with that Neptune and Pisces, even though it's lovely for dreams, you know, and really containing that emotion to bring that dream to life, at the same time, you know, it could make us not see things clearly. Some people might come around that looks good, sounds fun, but at the end of the day, it slows down everything you're doing. And we're not in a place for that because, like I said, we got all this Taurus energy where this gradual building. There's not things happen like right away. Sometimes they can because Uranus is in Taurus. But gradual building, that creates strong foundation, and it allows you to build on top of that foundation even more so it can hold and be stable. So I think that's it. Control what you can within, be firm on your decisions, and be aware of distractions coming. You know, the distractions, I always say they're the tests. So make sure you pass your tests and you'll get your blessings, your rewards. Saturn is still in Aquarius, baby, so Saturn's like things that, you know, are restricting you is not for, you know, the worst of you. It's not to punish you. Things that are restricting you, it might be to save you. It might be to keep you focused. So keep that in mind. I think that's all I got for y'all today. This is your food for thought. If you may, please feed me back. Let me know down below. Comment, like, share, tell a friend, tell a friend. Let me know how it goes, if I'm making shit up or it resonates or you can feel it or I just sound crazy. It don't matter. Let me know what's up. All right. Also, make sure to subscribe to the Swim channel, the Swim Network. We're about to release that after this retrograde season, Mercury retrograde season. So I would say summertime, about July. But definitely get to subscribing because we're gonna come with so much content on there. It's not just me. There's multiple creators that are going to be bringing astrology, but also different realms of esoteric, science, math, just entertainment, just fun. We're going to learn together. We're going to grow together. We're going to get to the promised land. We swimming, baby. But that's it. I'll see y'all soon. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure to stay tapped in, tuned in to yourself, because we in crazy times, baby. But anyways, see you next time. I go by name Willie Contraband. Much peace, much love.
They got you thinking that I'm dying, quoting all my songs, telling you that I'm lying. Though I know the truth, cause the truth will always find you. No matter where you go, is always right there behind you. See the shiny lights is only really there to blind you. Crazy how the stars in the sky could define you. Crazy how the stars in the sky could define you.